Ankle impingement is when we get pain on the front of our ankle when we go into plantar flexion, which is simply when our shin bone comes in front of our foot, like when we squat, when we do things closer to the ground usually. Now, when we get ankle impingement, it is caused by a malalignment of the joint, covering that in the most basic terms possible. Well, our ankle is comprised of our tibia, the bottom of our tibia, i.e. our shin bone, and that interacts with a bone called the talus. Now, when that tibia goes through a range of motion, what we want to see is that tibia comes forward and conversely, the talus comes backwards. That leaves all this space right here that is going to allow for impingement to not occur. Now, when certain muscles get tight, what happens is the talus essentially gets stuck in place. So instead of that talus starting to move backwards, what will happen is the tibia comes forward, talus stays in place, and then we just start knocking into bone on bone. That is the cause of the ankle impingement and that pain, is not having that space between the talus and the tibia. So the way we're going to address that is going to be some foam rolling to address the musculature that's keeping that talus locked in place. And then number two, we'll use some joint repositioning techniques to teach that talus how to move posteriorly as the tibia comes forward. Some of the primary musculature that locks that talus in place, resulting in impingement, is our calves. So where we're going to start out is using our ulti roller to do some targeted pressure release on our calf. The way we're going to do that, we'll be on our butt sitting down. We're going to start right above our Achilles, and we're just going to slowly roll through our calf. Now, as we're rolling through, we're going to look for those sensitive spots, those tender spots that tell us that we're in the right place and we should stop on them. Okay, so right there, I hit a spot that's a little bit more tender than the rest of my calf, so I'm going to sit on it and give that some pressure. Now, as always, we want to make sure we're relaxed, so let's make sure our calf isn't too tensed up and that we're breathing. And finally, we'll go through our contract-relax cycles. So, for our calf to contract, all I'm going to do is I'm going to point my foot, squeeze my calf. I'm going to get that for 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I will relax. Let that pressure dissipate back into that tissue for 30 seconds. As always, let's get at least 3 cycles on that one spot. After that 3 cycles, we can either continue on contract relaxing that same spot, give it some extra love, or we can continue rolling through that calf and look for the next affected area. Once we get to that area, same exact minimum 3 contract relaxes, or we can spend a little bit longer. Now, once we get that calf to release a little bit with foam rolling, then we're going to move into our next drill, which is going to be joint repositioning to help teach that talus how to translate properly. Now, to re-educate our talus to move backward as our knee moves forward and clear that impingement, we're going to use a joint repositioning drill. So where that starts is having our band firmly anchored against something that is secure, and then we are going to get that band position on our ankle. To do that, we're going to put our foot through, and for this drill to work correctly, I need the band to be below the balls of my ankle. If it's above the balls of our ankle, then the band is going to do more harm than good. So I'm going to reposition that band below the balls of our ankle, and a little trick on how we can keep that band there and stop it from starting to ride up on our shin is I'm going to use my back foot to drive that band to the ground, get that pull downward. Now, the last step here is let's load this band up with some force. So I'm going to bring my foot forward and get some tension in that band. Once again, the band is what is pulling our talus backwards and repositioning that joint. So we do want to have some tension in it. Now, to go through this drill, what we're going to do is find our end range in this position. And what I mean by that is we're going to drive our knee as far forward as possible without our heel coming up off the ground. That is going to be our end range of motion. Once we're there, let's make sure we're relaxed, we're breathing, and we can finally go through our contract-relax cycles. So in this case, our contract is going to be pushing down through the ball of our foot. As always, it's going to be static, so as we do that, nothing is going to move. So right now, pushing through the ball of my foot, I'm going to get 5 seconds of that contract, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then when I relax, I'm going to see if I can get some further range of motion by relaxing and trying to drive that knee farther forward. Okay, as always, let's get at least 3 contract-relax cycles in this drill, okay? But honestly, this is so good for ankle health and ankle function that if you can spend more time, please do, okay? Give that sequence a try, okay? Spend 15 minutes for a couple of days going through the foam rolling on your calf and then the joint repositioning with a band and see what that does for your ankle impingement. If it helps, please send us some feedback, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. I'd love to help.